neither of the women wore coats, and somehow this made them look more like apparitions than anything else. Jean squinted into the cold light of the vestibule, assured that there had been some mistake. These women weren't here for her. But as she pulled the door open, their supplicating faces beamed squarely at her. "Hello," the middle-aged mom said. "I'm so sorry to bother you. This is going to sound a little strange, but my mother used to live in your apartment, and it would be wonderful if she could come up to take a look." Her vowels were wide and flat, obviously Midwestern. Jean stood back like a slapped person. This was the last thing she had expected to hear. She tried to collect herself, looking into the wrinkled, powdery face of the old lady, wrapped neatly in a babushka-style scarf ablaze with poppies. "I promise we won't take long. I'm sure you have things to do, but we're only here for the day." "I guess so. Why not?" Jean tried to sound friendly and magnanimous as she motioned them into the vestibule. The daughter was tall, almost as tall as Jean, a shared feature that made Jean simultaneously warmed and suspicious. I think it's worth mentioning that there isn't an elevator." The middle-aged woman smiled. "Oh, we know. Mom remembered that, didn't you?" She patted her mother's liver-spotted hand and clasped it tight. They scaled the stairs slowly. The daughter watched patiently as the old woman's sensible orthopedic shoes found the flat and rise each time. "So where are you visiting from?" Jean asked, not sure how she was meant to behave. Maybe she should have been solemn and silent, but the daughter at least didn't seem like the solemn, silent type. "We're here from Chicago. For a funeral, actually." "Oh, I'm so sorry," Jean said, fidgeting where she paused on the landing, waiting for them to catch up. "Thank you." "Here, Mom? Right here?" The old woman nodded down the hall, grasping at the railing. Jean held the apartment door open, standing awkwardly beside the "come back with a warrant" emblazoned welcome mat her roommates had purchased at a yard sale. The old woman looked so tenderly through the door jamb that Jean was forced to avert her eyes. The visitor maneuvered herself through the apartment by bracing herself against the walls and finally sat at the little kitchen table. She spoke rapidly to her daughter in a gnarled Eastern European dialect. "Oh, Mom," the daughter beamed. "She said the bathtub used to be right here." She pointed to the awkward space where Jean and her roommates had wedged the coffee table. "And she and her 3 sisters slept in that corner over by the window. Isn't that just amazing? Mom lived here until she got married." She turned back to her mother, and they spoke quietly for a while, their language like a zipper, smooth but toothy. In a long pause, they sighed like twins and stared as though counting every wall and window. "Can I get you something? Water, or maybe coffee?" Jean asked, wondering if she should make some excuse to leave and give them privacy, but was also about 10% convinced this could be some kind of scam, and if she left them alone, she would return to an empty apartment. "Oh, no, thank you, dear. We should get going. Isn't that right, Mom?" The woman smoothed her mother's forehead, loving but purposeful. "Thank you," the old mother said to Jean, her voice marbled with a heavy accent. Jean nodded deferentially. The woman's gaze was harsh. Jean felt like she was being poked with a sharpened stick. "I can't tell you how much this means to us," the daughter said, revealing extravagant crow's feet.